Welcome to the DeSoto ISD Eagle Insights Podcast, conversations with the community. With academics, arts, and athletics at the forefront, we are soaring higher for the future of our students, staff, and community. Thank you for watching and enjoy the show.
Welcome to our next episode of DeSoto ISD Insights. I'm Tiffany Blackman-Jones, Chief Communications Officer for DeSoto ISD. And on this very special episode of DeSoto Insights, joining me are our 2025 Campus Teachers of the Year. So before we get started, I want to take an opportunity to have them introduce themselves so that we can get to know who all of our amazing educators are who will be talking with us today. So we'll start with you.
Good afternoon. My name is Monique Wyatt. I'm the assistant 12th grade math teacher at the DeSoto Alternative Education Program.
My name is Tanisha Hedge. I'm a math teacher and I teach CTE at Katherine Johnson Technology Magnet Academy.
Hello, my name is Devontae Daniels and I am an ag teacher at DeSoto High School.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Hamilton. I teach at Amber Terrace Learning Center and I am a pre-K4 teacher.
Hello, my name is Eric Alvarez. I teach at Woodridge Fine Arts Academy and I teach kindergarten.
Hello, my name is Sean Johnson. I teach 8th grade math and algebra 1 at DeSoto West Middle School.
I am Timmy Ray. I am the 5th grade ELAR social studies teacher at Frank D. Moats Elementary.
My name is Charlotte Williams. I teach at Cockrell Hill Elementary, mechanical and teaching.
My name is Jeff Jacobs. I teach English Language Arts and Reading at Katherine Johnson TMA.
My name is Sandy White. I teach math at Curtis D. McCowan Middle School.
My name is Latoya Williams. I teach 8th grade math, algebra 1, and I'm the choir director at Ruby Young Talented and Gifted Academy.
My name is Aaron Jackson. I teach 5th grade math at the Meadows Elementary School.
Welcome and thank you guys for joining us today. So I think I want to start with why you got into teaching. All of us have so many gifts and talents and interests. So of all the things in the world you had the opportunity to do, you chose education. So let's start with why.
For me, it was 17 years ago. I actually was a detention officer. My undergrad was criminal justice, and when I was working at Lone Star Henry Wade Detention Center, I saw so many students coming in and going out, and I actually wanted to do something to maybe try to grab them before they got into the system. And so at that time, education was that avenue, and I fell in love with it ever since.
Wow.
I got into math because of a math teacher that I had in high school. I was struggling with algebra and I thought that I just couldn't grasp the concept until I ran across a math teacher who got me not only to learn algebra, I started loving math. And I had a bad home situation. And not only did he help me apply for college, he got me into college and through college. And so I've dedicated my life to trying to do that for as many kids as I can.
That's awesome. I never had that math teacher, so that's why I transitioned from business major to journalism. I figured I could get by a little bit better switching lanes, so maybe I needed your teacher back in the day. So what about others of us? Why education?
I'll speak. I got into education. I knew I wanted to be a teacher probably at the age of 8. I was one of those kids who I would get all the leftover worksheets at the end of the school year and play school with my friends on the porch at my great-grandmother's house. I taught all the neighborhood kids how to read and multiply and do all things math. And I was real quiet and highly intelligent, but I never talked. So I had 2 teachers, my 4th grade math teacher and my 5th grade math teacher, Miss Connors and Miss Ennis in Dallas ISD, who they didn't let me fade into the background. They called me the math whiz, and so they would pull me and work with me, enroll me in all types of math Olympiads, spelling bees. Anytime there was a competition, they went out of their way to make sure that I was seen. And I wanted to do that for students, and I do that now. So I'm like, I look to see, what can I see in this student? You're too quiet. What's your story? And so with that helped me because I lost my mom at a young age. So those are the female role models that to this day, had they not saw in me and pulled out of me that gift, that talent, I don't know where I would be.
I love that. That's wonderful. And so thinking about that, all of us have that connection with some educator in our lives. So can we pause and talk about who that was for you? Like who touched you, who helped you see yourself, who helped you believe that, you could do or become anything you wanted to be?
For me, it was my parents. My dad is a 48-year college professor, and my mom is an early childhood educator. So growing up, they've always instilled into me the importance to show others how to become lifelong learners.
So you didn't have a choice.
Nah.
That's what I heard. My dad was a basketball coach who coached at the high school that I went to, and my mom was a school secretary. So I'm kind of in your boat as well. So I understand being the kid of an educator also. What about others of us?
I would say for me, it was actually a para. When I was in the 6th grade, I used to get in a lot of trouble when I was younger. And he knew that I was into sports, and my family was kind of known for playing sports. And he kind of broke it down to me and let me know that you can't do one without the other. And once I got to high school, my coach kind of took me in and kind of helped me build the character that I needed to be the man that I am today. So after that, going to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't think I would ever be teaching. But once I finished, I wasn't ready to start my career, so I went to get a master's degree. And after that, I just had to sit back and think. So one day I was in church, and then as they're calling people to the altar, I never go, but I went. And then after that, it was just something tugging on me and telling me that I needed to find a way to give back. And after that,
so the Lord called you on
pretty
to the class. He said, "Won't there be one?" And it was you.
Pretty much.
So what about others of us? Who saw you?
My mother, she was a teacher at Townview, and she had a class of students who were applying for college. They were first-generation students, and so they didn't know the process. And you know me, I was a huge writer at that time, and so I got to help them craft their essays. You know, I went there at first, like, trying to see, like, who can I meet? Because, you know, I was 17 at the time. But it turned into me helping out. It was great to see, like, that was my first step into seeing I could do this.
Okay, awesome. Mr. Alvarez?
Yeah, for me, it would be my high school English teacher. I just appreciated how much I can tell he cared about us and tried to get the most out of us, especially for me being so quiet and to myself. He really built that relationship, made me feel comfortable, and brought the best out of me. And I knew at that moment, oh, this is what I want to do, help my students.
So I love all these stories about connection and relationship, and that's really like the foundation of great teaching, which is why you are where you are. So as Teachers of the Year, let's talk about what that feels like. So what were our reactions to even understanding that you have been named Teacher of the Year this year?
For me, it was a humbling experience. I was excited to be recognized by my peers. It's nice to walk down the hallway and they don't even address me as Miss Ray anymore. They're like, "Hey, Teacher of the Year." So it's been a nice experience to be recognized by my peers.
That's awesome.
I was shocked. Miss Coleman called me right when I was walking into my classroom. And when she told me, I was like overjoyed, and I didn't believe it, honestly. And I was like, why is she calling me at 7:15 in the morning? Like, I just got here. And then she made an announcement on an announcement, and all of a sudden you hear my students say, "If you're the teacher of the year, that means we're the students of the year." And so the whole time they did that all day long.
That's so good.
It was bitter and sweet. It was sweet because I was nominated and recognized by not only the faculty and the principals, but it had to go actually against my counterpart, Miss Lewis, who I thought was a phenomenal teacher. And the ironic part of it was when we both found out we were the two last candidates, we both voted for each other. And so I was happy, but I was like, dang, I wish you would have won. So it was bitter and sweet at the same time.
Okay.
It's just a great testament of our work, what we show up to do every day. So getting named Teacher of the Year, I was a little like, what? I know I wear many hats, but in the school I'm at, it felt good, it felt different. It's like, dang, all these other teachers on this list and I was chose. So it made me feel good.
Awesome.
For me, it was so unexpected because the 6 years prior, I had been a GT specialist, instructional coordinator, testing coordinator, and I returned to the classroom this year because I saw a need. We needed someone to teach algebra. We couldn't find a teacher or hire a teacher fast enough, so I was like, wait a minute, I'll do it. Just give me a stipend, I'll do it. So I was able to go back into the classroom with the expectation that I know what I'm doing. I know these students. I've had these students, and most of them since kindergarten and 4th grade during COVID. So I know the families. This will be a cakewalk. That was the last thing on my mind, was to think about Teacher of the Year, because I'm just returning to the classroom. You know, the teachers are having to make adjustments with me on the admin side versus teacher side. And the fact that they voted for me or nominated me was so humbling. But I think the students were more excited than I was, because when it was announced, they acted like it was an award for them, you know? So that really made me feel great, because I'm that stern but fair teacher. And I was like, if somebody come in this room, don't you keep moving, don't say anything. So for them to get excited like that, they were like, wait, can we celebrate? And so they were, you know, it was surreal. So I'm very humbled. I'm very appreciative of my peers.
That's awesome. So these all sound like fill your cup up moments, which I think we all need. And I think teaching, you know, is hard. It requires so much of you, not only mentally and emotionally, but also physically, because you are contributing your whole self when you show up in front of children every single day. So when you think about what that is for you, what is that extra that you give or that you bring or that you offer to your role as an educator that you feel like is a difference maker for your kids?
The fact that I walked a mile in most of their shoes, showing them the love, the compassion, because all of them don't receive the same thing at home. Mm-hmm. And so I think the reason that I have such a great relationship, I'm intentional about building a close bond with my students. And you can't expect them to perform when they're having a hard time. So I'll go out my way to make sure that they're good. And if you make sure they're good, it makes you feel good to know that you made a difference in their life, period.
Good.
I know I really enjoy the mentorship piece, because I know some children may not have the best foundation at home, so it allows me to be that positive role model in their life to be able to help keep them down the right path.
I bring my authentic self. I really try to just love on them. Even I taught high school, I'm teaching middle school currently, and they call me Mama Hedge. I actually have a large family, so I have 6 children. Grown-ups, I have adults now. And so I just try to bring that love and to let them, show them my human side, and be relatable and understand, just like when he said, try to understand that they have different walks of life, be compassionate. That's what I try to bring to the classroom.
I would say basically having an open door policy. Like a lot of the kids don't mind opening up to me about certain things that they might not feel comfortable talking to someone else with. And I feel like it's my job to actually be there and listen, not always be listening to respond, but just allowing them to vent and get it off of their chest at times.
I think being vulnerable with the students and letting them see your own progression. Like for instance, when I first moved to Texas and I was in 4th grade, I wasn't a very good reader. So I can identify with some of those students, but I let them see but look where I'm at now. So you don't have to stay in that circumstance. If you put in the work and you trust and believe, then you can become a better student. So even though I teach the math concept, I still bring that same vulnerability to the classroom.
That's so good, sharing your journey with your kids as you're interacting with them every day, because I do think it's important that they do see educators as human beings. You know, we think about when we were kids, you see your teacher in the store and it was like, oh my gosh, there's Miss Williams, because you only see Miss Williams in the classroom, but to know that she's a human being that buys eggs and milk and bread and has kids that she goes home to of her own, really kind of humanizes you and helps you realize hey, this is a person with emotions and experiences just like me. And it's those, again, relationships and connections that I feel like make the difference when we talk about our effectiveness with kids. Speaking of effectiveness, we all understand that there's a national teacher shortage that's affecting schools across the country. So what advice would you give to people who may be struggling with whether or not to choose education or stay in education?
Basically just show up every day, because they need us. Sometimes we need them. We need to see, this is my why. This is why I show up every day. And just wherever you go, just make sure they remember you. Make sure they know, hey, I'm here for you. If you ever need me, come talk to me. So just be that person for our students.
And you'll be able to see the growth in the students every day. Sometimes it'll be weekly, monthly, but eventually you'll be able to see what you've put into the students, and that, can bring anyone who's not used to this education field to see this is how I can measure, how I'm helping the community or the people around me.
Okay, that's good.
I say the power of 3 C's. Confidence, compassion, and confidence, compassion, and just being, I'm sorry, I just got courage. Courage, but yeah, you need to have courage, but you also need to have consistency. That's my third C.
That's a great one.
Confidence, compassion, and consistency. And just making sure that you're just fair. Say what you mean what you say. Show up every day. Make sure that you're caring and loving, showing the compassion that they deserve. Walk in confidence. Teach your students how to have confidence, but also make sure that you're confident in your craft. So that's the personal work that you do on yourself, so that way you deliver your best every day when you go into the classroom. Okay. So it would be the power of the 3 C's.
Good, I like that.
I think setting up a support system for you, for those that want to continue teaching, just having someone to lean on, and somebody you need to talk to if you need help, you're having a rough day, you always have someone that can kind of lift you up, help you out, kind of keep you positive.
That's good to have kind of community around you. Very good.
My advice would be that it does take a village, and you're not in it by yourself. So understand you have a team of teachers, that become your friends. You have your other coworkers, and then also the parents. Parents as partners is a big deal in the classroom. And if you can build those relationships with the parents as well, they'll be your best friends. They'll help out when there's behavior issues, when there's academic needs or concerns. If you need snacks or stickers for your classroom, they'll be there. So just build those relationships and know that you're not by yourself.
I like how you bring in the element of parents and partnership. And so for you guys, what is your advice for engaging parents? And what can parents do to better support teachers and their kids in your classes?
Basically, just really, truly be that communication. If you communicate with them, that's where it all stems from, communication.
And a lot of times, the relationships are built outside of school. So I'm one of those teachers, like right now, I'm the choir director. I also work with students in National Honor Society. We just had our National Junior Honor Society induction today. I have student council students that could work together to do community service projects. I also go see them at their sports, their games. They'll bring their schedule. You coming to my game? I'm like, wait a minute. Let me check my schedule. And so I make a way I make a way to go and see them outside of the classroom. And so when we make that investment in our students and we see them outside of the classroom, they really know we care. We sit with their families, talk positively to their families, so that when you go in the classroom and you say, I'll be at your game Saturday, they'll think twice about making a decision that may not be the best decision. So I found that early on in my teaching career that if you build that bond, build that trust, you can teach them anything. But they have to trust you and you have to believe in them.
I would say over-communicate. Instead of just over-communicate, I always try to make sure that my parents know exactly what I'm doing. I'm transparent. I make things available so that they know where to find information from my classroom. I also make sure that I have like some type of weekly dialogue with my parents. I greet them every Monday morning on Class Dojo. Even though I'm teaching 8th grade, I want them to know that they don't have to ask. And if you do need to ask, I'm gonna be an open book, and I'll let you know what's going on in my classroom. There's no secrets in here. Also, I would tell future teachers, just be mindful that the parents are giving you their best child. This is their best work. And so just kind of understand that it's a partnership. And I also use her phrase and say, it is a village, it takes a village. I let them know that I'm their partner, because when they let their kid go, they're in my hands. And so I just want them to understand and know that I'm trying to give them the best that I have when they're in my care.
I was gonna say, like even when you first initially meet the parent, like for meet the teacher night or something like that, you have to let them really see your compassion and your intent. So like I'm an intense teacher, but I explain to all my parents, hey, they probably gonna come home the first couple of days, like, who is this Mr. Jackson guy, right? I said, but when they understand that I'm trying to prepare them for an America that is dual language, etc., then you'll understand why. And so when they know that I'm coming from that position, a lot of the parents will allow you to be whatever you need to be to that student. Because I had a grandmother the other day say, hey, if you need to grab them, I said, no, I'm good. I said, I'm good. She was like, yeah, but if you need to. I said, well, thank you for giving me the information, but I'm good, you know. But that's been, over the school year, we built that rapport, you know, so. I started out day one with that perspective, so it's working.
So I love that you are not afraid to lean into rigor and high expectation. How do we extend high expectation and an expectation around excellence for our kids? What does that look like in your work as a teacher?
Failure is not an option. Redo it. Try again. Small group. Tutoring. We're going to keep going until there's no more, there's no more time left. And so I'm consistently letting them know you don't get to just take a 0. You're still going to do the work. Right. So with that, and encouraging them in a positive way, and providing that nurturing and that support, while at the same time being stern, they'll try. They'll be hesitant at first, but eventually they'll try. They'll make a couple of mistakes. They'll try, and just keep encouraging them to do it, to try, to show effort, but failure is never an option. They don't get to opt out.
I always tell my kids to try. They're 4. So, so I get all the tears. It's like, I can't do it. And I was like, no, you can do it. It doesn't have to look like my work. I just want to see your work. And just giving them that confidence and that ability that they have their free range to just show me what they can do. And of course, I have to praise them. Because if you sit there and just be stern, I mean, it's okay to be stern, but for them, you got to make them love school. Because it's their first time in school. And we don't want them to go around and say, I don't want to be at school, I don't want to be here, I don't like to learn. Because even when you hear a 4-year-old say, I don't like to learn, we're like, oh, we need to change that. You got like so many years left of school. You got to put the confidence in them and say, you can do this. It is okay to mess up. You can make mistakes, but you can get better as well.
My biggest thing, my favorite phrase to them is, believe in me like I believe in you. Believe that I can get you to understand this, because I believe that you can. And like she said, you have to build up the confidence. So I just thought, because you'd be amazed at how some of them can't even like multiply and divide at middle school. So once you get them to master one little thing, then they be like, oh, okay then, and then you take it to the next level. Then you get them to the point where they, they finally figure, I can get this. But it takes, a month or two to get them to understand it, and you got to slowly let them see that they can achieve certain things. And once they get started, then they be excited, because most of your behavior problems is because they think they can't do it. But once they realize they can, it totally changes their world, and then they leave by the end of the year, and math is their favorite subject. So that's my biggest takeaway is, once at the end of the year, to hear them say that's their favorite subject, it's everything.
For me, I'm math as well, but the coach side of me is, if you don't put in the work, if you don't put in the reps, you can't expect to grow. It's consistency and repetition. So whenever I give homework, I give it to them on Alex, and I give them unlimited chances, because it gives you different questions. So the parents, there should be no complaint from parents about your grade, because you have unlimited chances to get it correct. But what I feel helps is seeing a kid who's never got 100 work that over and over and over until they get 100, to finally receive it and then get excited and show their parents. To me, that's rewarding, but also you don't understand how many problems you actually just worked, because you're still chasing that 100.
Right, so it's kind of like a Jedi mind trick to get you that extra practice in, which is great.
For me, I served 24 years in the United States Army. I retired last year, so I come with a level of discipline and high expectations, and I instill those in my students. And so from day one, I'm going to have the best class in this whole building. That's the expectation. Whether it's in the hallway, in the classroom, report cards, that's the expectation, and you're not allowed to fall short. And it's about accountability. I'm being held accountable as the teacher, and I want the students to be held accountable for their own learning and their own work. So just making sure they understand what this grade looks like. If you stop here, this is what your grade looks like. If you go here, now we are meeting that expectation. So.
Good stuff. So constant conversation, repetition. So as we get ready to close, I want to pick your brains about one very important thing. So for teachers, we all figure out our different ways of how we survive and thrive and show up in our roles. What is your go-to teacher hack for making it?
I would say, and it took me a little minute to learn it. I learned it from Nakina Madison, which is the 24th Teacher of the Year at the high school. Stay consistent every day. No matter what you do, just stay consistent. When you're consistent, nothing changes. From the kids, they come in and do what you have them to do. When you hold them accountable, it's just consistency.
Create your brand. I have a TikTok, JJ Teacher Games. With that, I use it to teach homework. We do live sessions. I make videos, and like I have a whole TV channel about what it's like to be a teacher and pretend to be all the students. That helps build that relationship right at the beginning. And then once they're hooked, you know, we can learn anything through that channel and then bring it into the classroom.
That's good. So now incorporating social media and technology to create that extra level of engagement. I love that.
I think expectation, like said it in the beginning, you know, let the kids know what, you know, expected of them, and also parents.
Good.
I think also staying true to what works. Sometimes you want to have so many irons in the fire, but we had paper and pencil growing up and got us where we are. So, so sometimes when nothing else works, hey, pull out that paper, pull out that pen, and really start going from that perspective. So sometimes just sticking to the basics.
Well, I want to say thank you guys. I've learned a lot. I am definitely encouraged and inspired in my role in education. I'm so excited for you all. Once again, congratulations in your appointment and naming as Teachers of the Year. All of you are extremely deserving and really represent the best of what is amazing here in DeSoto ISD. So to our viewers in DeSoto and Glen Heights, I just want to say thank you for joining us for DeSoto ISD Insights, and we will catch you next time wherever you view your podcast.
Thank you for watching the DeSoto ISD Eagle Insights podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel in addition to liking and sharing this episode. Also, please visit our website and follow us on social media for more information about DeSoto ISD. And always remember,